Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome back to Trojan Sports Now. For this week's Trojan Profile, I'm joined by volunteer assistant coach for the softball team, Taylor Smartt. So Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, you played softball here at Troy and now you're a volunteer assistant coach. So what sparked your love for the game?
Well, I grew up with my dad obviously coaching baseball, so I fell in love with baseball, and then when I had to make the transition to softball, just being around the game, you get so much from the game that, I just feel like I couldn't live without it.
And what was that initial spark that got you going? I know you said your dad with baseball, but was there something that was like, oh, I need to play softball that really got you going?
Well, I couldn't play baseball anymore, so I kind of had to, if I was going to continue to play that game, I was going to have to move over to softball, and I did, and at first it was a little different, but you respect the game, it gives a lot back to you, so.
Absolutely. And how long would you say you played softball?
Softball, 11 years, but baseball, obviously, I played a while before that.
And how did you know you wanted to play in college? Because I know you played, middle school, high school, and then you came to college. What, made you want to keep pursuing that?
Well, when I realized that I couldn't imagine not playing it, I was like, I got to play in college.
And then why Troy? What made you pick Troy?
Well, a lot of it had to do with this is the only place my dad would have a chance to watch me play. He probably doesn't want me to admit that, but it was a great place. I love the city. I love the university. It's a great experience, and I'm thankful I got to play for my hometown.
And speaking of your dad, with him coaching baseball, how often was he able to come and see you at the softball field?
He probably watched about a full 10 games, but he never really got to see a full game each year. That's kind of pushing it, but I was very blessed that he even got to see one or two. So.
And now, what did it take to be a college athlete? What kind of time, dedication, what all did it take on your part?
You have to be very good at time management. It takes a lot of time and a lot of extra stuff that you don't really think. It's not just the 4 hours the coach requires. You have to put a lot in on your own. You have to be willing to study extra and go to your teacher when you need help, because obviously you're missing a lot of class. But you have to be a good student, and you have to be willing to give up pretty much a lot to play at the college level.
And now, you played for Troy, and now you're a volunteer assistant for Troy. So what made you want to pursue that coaching career?
Well, my dad, obviously, he influenced a lot. I grew up with him always at the ball field, so that's kind of all I really knew. But when I realized how much you get from the game, I wanted to make sure that I gave back to what I was given. So I'm just trying to give back to the game that I love.
Speaking of your dad, did he encourage you to become a coach, or did he discourage you? What was his advice for you?
He never really said you need to do it, or really never really said you don't need to do it. He just said you know what you're getting into, and it's a lot of time, and if you want to do it, then I'm all for it, and if you don't, so be it.
What have you learned from him being a coach that you can use later on, as a coach or now as a coach?
Definitely takes a lot of time. It's not you show up and get it done. You're there a lot of long hours, a lot of relationships that you build that continue to go on. I know a lot of his players still call him today and catch up, just chit chat. So it's not just 4 years that they're here, or 2 years, whatever. It's a lifetime friendship bond that you develop with your players.
Now, you were a college athlete. How do you feel like that will help you as a coach?
Well, obviously I understand what they went through, or what they're going through, what you're trying to put them through, and the time, and if they're struggling with something, I'm sure that I've probably struggled with it before, and maybe the experience that I had that I could share with them to help better their experience.
And now, what are your coaching goals for your career?
I would love to be a Division I head coach, and before but I just want to work my way up and see what all I can do.
And what does it mean to you? You're a coach, and your dad is an assistant coach, fixing to become a head coach. What all does that mean to you that y'all are both coaching at the same university?
It's pretty cool. The first staff meeting we had, he was like, I cannot believe that you're in here. Just kind of shook his head and was like, it's so weird seeing you in here. But it's pretty cool. Obviously, I'd like to be as successful as he is and everything. So hopefully one day I can.
Now, next year, your brother will be here too, so almost the entire family here.
Yes.
You know, how cool is that for you to see that your brother's coming, your dad's a coach, and you're a coach?
Well, I mean, we're Trojans through and through. I'm happy that my brother chose Troy, and he's going to get to play for my dad. It's a pretty cool experience, and hopefully I'll still be around and, you know, get to see it. Pretty much, I mean, we bleed Cardinal. I mean.
And, you know, you've been at Troy a while. Your parents have been at Troy. You know, Troy means a lot to your family. So what does the university mean to you?
It's a great place to be. It's a great place to go to school, to play. It's beautiful. The professors work, you know, with you. I love it. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else, to be honest.
As a volunteer assistant, you're under Coach Beth Mullins. What exactly does she allow you to do, and what do you do for the team?
She allows me to help Coach Chloe with the hitters and with the infield, and then I help her sometimes with the outfielders. Just kind of depends on what the day is. And I coach first base and just try and learn as much as I can, pass along as much information as I can to the players.
Now, becoming a coach, what would you want your focus to be? You know, you played second and third base. You know, what would be your career goal to teach players?
I'd love to be a hitting coach some infield, but you know, I'd coach some outfield too.
Do whatever it takes.
Yeah, do whatever it takes.
How do you feel like this season is going for the softball team so far?
We're learning. It's a learning process. We're working the process, and every game, whether win or lose, we're actually getting better, and that's the main focus. We're going into our last weekend before conference starts, and if we continue to get better by the time conference starts, we're going to be rolling on through. I think it's going well, though.
And what are some goals for the team, you know, for you as coaches, the team players? You know, what are goals that y'all have for this season?
Well, we just want to work to better ourselves each game. That we're not setting anything too high or anything too low. We're trying to be the best we can each game. You know, we're going to play ourselves in the game, every game, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. Just get better each game and see where we can go. Hopefully we can make it to postseason and have a chance to be the first time in Troy history.
And do you see yourself staying at Troy long? I know your parents have been here a while and you've been here a while. Do you see, you know, your coaching career staying here long, or do you hope it stays here long?
I'd love to coach here at Troy as a full-time, but I mean, sometimes I always heard it takes you leaving a place to come back to a place. So definitely we'll be ready to leave and hopefully get a chance somewhere. And I'd love to one day be back here. It's a great place.
Now I have some fun questions for you to kind of get to know you a little better. So first off, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food? I'd have to say chicken parmesan.
Okay. Do you make that at your?
Oh no, I can't make it.
You just go and get it sometimes?
Yeah.
What's your favorite music?
I guess it depends on the day. Sometimes I love Florence and the Machine. Kind of just depends. Little Dave. And then you obviously can have a little more upbeat stuff. Just depends on what type of mood you're in. But obviously being around college athletes, you know, Pandora Top 40 is pretty much all we listen to.
Say, what did you listen to get ready for games, or what do your play?
You know, you have your typical game day playlist. Everyone does.
Oh yeah. So what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'd probably say Sweet Home Alabama or Forrest Gump. Typical movies that I love. But you know, League of Their Own's a solid choice always.
And then what do you do in your spare time, or do you even have spare time?
Not a lot of spare time, but I like to shop and I like to, you know, just enjoy my off time. There's not a lot that goes on. You know, in Troy there's not much, so you kind of enjoy your free time.
Well, Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you the best of luck in your coaching career and so far this season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And stick around for more Trojan Sports Now. We'll have a preview of what's coming up in Troy athletics.